Hello, everyone. It's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community of over 185,000 now, right across the arts, all over the world. And our motto is choose people who will say your name in a room full of opportunity. And all of this fun is made possible by our full members who join us in our inner circle. It's just £10 a month to join our inner circle. But that makes all of this possible. So I'm joined today by Boguslawa, and Boguslawa is an artist based in Swindon. And when I saw her work for the first time recently, it was like standing on a rake. I loved it, and I'm going to show you some of her work. Before I do that, I'd like to give Boguslawa an opportunity to say hello, tell us a bit about you and the work you do, and where you're based. And then we're going to have some fun because I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year. Boguslawa, thank you so much for joining me today for this and for being one of our full members. Would you like to say hello to everyone?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Boguslawa. I'm an artist, and I'm based in Swindon, very close to Bristol, I would say. And I paint like emotional landscapes, full of feelings, emotion, and they are not realistic. They are more doing with the passion of the, you know, like emotion. I would say, yeah.
I love the fact that you're sitting halfway between abstraction and realism.
Thank you.
I love that. And as you might recall, when you first showed me your work, I like to try and capture something about the work of the artists who I meet that I will never forget. Okay. I call it the picture hook. What is it about your work that I will never forget? And you and I had a conversation about where your work might lead you, and the importance of having that picture hook. And it occurred to us, or it occurred to me in my crazy head, that that you seemed to be sitting when you were creating this work at a point at which somebody would be fishing or angling.
Oh
There's
yeah.
lots of there's, there's lots of beautiful water in your picture, wonderful skies and reeds and bushes, and I just thought it was a fantastic opportunity to differentiate you from other artists. 99% of artists are doing something that somebody else is doing. And to be successful these days, it helps to have a picture hook, something that differentiates you from others and perhaps prompts people to want to collect. So I'm going to dive in. I'm going to share my
Thank
screen and show everyone your website so that we can have a look at this wonderful work. So if you'd like to um, explore more of Boguslava's work, it's at Bogusława-Bryska. Do you say Bryska or Bryska?
It's Bryska.
Bryska.co.uk. And here she is. There we go. And you can get a hint of this from this wonderful image here. But if we click on the art button here, whoa, you see, it's just it just leaps out of the screen at me. And as you can see, this could be somebody sitting here fishing, relaxing in this wonderful environment. And same here. And I could imagine a little fishing float bobbing on the water there because I'm a bit of a fisherman myself. And another one could be there. We talked about this, and I hope that's something you'll consider. But well, again, different. The colors are just so vivid. It's like somebody's turned up the color on my screen, compared to others. So if you'd like to, oh, look at that. Love it.
Thank
If you'd like to explore more of Boguslava's work, oh, that one's sold. What a shame. Then that's the place to go. So I love that. I think that's fantastic. And here's you. There we
you.
go. A journey through landscape and emotion. That sums it up. It's wonderful, especially if you like sitting near water. Excellent. Okay, now that's given me some lovely inspiration for your fantasy cultural year. Okay, I have a magic wand and a time machine at hand, and we're going to send you on a year of study, discovery, work, and enjoyment.
Amazing.
In order to do that, I need to place you somewhere in the world.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to do that by asking you, what's your favorite building?
My favorite building. I think it's my house.
Okay.
It's my favorite place to be, really.
Okay. So that's your house in Swindon.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Okay.
love it.
It's great. Okay. What's the nearest big town or city to you there? Is it Swindon or is it Bristol?
It's a Bristol. Bristol is the closest. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to imagine do you have a favorite building in Bristol?
I never been in Bristol, just the airport, really.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's find out. Uh let's see where we can find. Okay, I think we're going to have to go to the cathedral. Okay.
All right.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
It looks
absolutely.
wonderful. Let me show everybody where you're going to be. Here we go. This is Bristol Cathedral. Look at that.
That's amazing.
Isn't it lovely? You must go.
Definitely.
So I want you to imagine that somewhere here in this picture is a pop-up cafe,
Hmm.
okay, and bar. And you're sitting there in the sunshine at 6 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, early evening, and admiring the view of the cathedral. Okay.
Hmm.
There is a drink on the table next to you. What would we find there?
Next to me,
Hmm.
it's always oranges.
Orange juice. Okay. So we've got Bristol Cathedral and orange juice. I must just show everybody this. This is Gaia. This is an installation of the Earth, and it visited Bristol Cathedral. That spins round. It's 6 meters across, and it's just remarkable. So if you
Um,
ever see Gaia, Gaia,
mhm.
um, that's the one to go for. There we go, Bristol Cathedral. People would just sit and watch the Earth move. Fantastic. Okay,
Fantastic.
so we've got orange juice outside Bristol Cathedral. There's also a book on the table next to you. What book would we find there?
Um, I like I like Paulo Coelho. I don't know if you know this one.
Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's find some Paulo Coelho. There we go. Paulo Coelho. Wonderful. The Alchemist.
That's the one.
Fantastic. That's the book.
That's the
Pa-
book.
The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. And you've also got headphones in
Uh-huh.
and you're listening to music. What are you listening to?
Hans Zimmer.
Whoa.
I love him.
Oh, yes, I
Crazy,
do.
right?
I love watching the movie Interstellar just for the
Mhm.
music. It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's so
Oh,
amazing.
great choice. Um, so there we are, Bristol Cathedral, orange juice, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, and Hans Zimmer in your ears.
This is like,
Perfect afternoon. Now, you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've just come from a meeting in the
mhm.
cathedral with a wealthy Bristol-based family foundation who like to support unusual projects in the arts and the art world. Okay. They've seen your paintings and they loved them as well. And they made the link between fishing and art.
Of
Okay.
course.
And they think that that's a great way to introduce new people to art by
Mhm.
combining sport and pastimes, which people know and enjoy, with art that they may not have encountered. Okay. They would like to hire you for a year. Okay. They would like you to travel the world to go to all the major fishing locations. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And create your paintings with a red fishing float in every picture. And and engage with fishermen on the riverbank and show them the art and decide, what to paint. Now, there the budget is huge. The fee is great. You're getting paid a lot of money to do this. Okay. It's first class travel all the way. It's for a
Mhm.
year. Friends and family can come and visit you while you're away, if you wish. There will be a TV crew following you. There will be a book deal in it.
Oh.
Um, you'll do a TED talk when you get home. Um, you'll be on morning television talking to people about what you've done to bring sport and art together.
Mhm.
And you can do a global university lecture tour afterwards. Okay. Does that sound like fun?
Uh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start. All you have to decide is where you want to go first. So it's all kinds of fishing, but I think river fishing and lake fishing is probably the way to go. So where would you like to start this?
Any lake really. I came from the place in Poland. It's called like Hundred of Lake, and it's really beautiful there.
Okay, let's have a look. 100 Lakes, Poland.
Yes.
Okay, images.
So we have lots of fishermen there, definitely.
Wow, look at this. I'm going to show everyone. Is this it?
Yes.
Oh my word. Beautiful lakes in Poland. Okay, you're going to start um, sitting here painting.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay. Or we
We
might put you let's see where else we could go.
have wonderful lakes in
And
Poland.
and that there, there you are. That's you. Okay, so you're on the plane, okay, from London to what's the nearest city in Poland to the lakes? It would be
Mhm. I think only Warsaw.
Warsaw. Okay. Now you got on the plane and you turned left on the aeroplane because you're traveling first class.
Mhm.
The steward brings you a glass of orange juice and a note from the Family Foundation because they have a challenge for you. It's a musical challenge. They would like you to limit your musical listening
Mhm.
to one type of music for 12 months
Mhm.
to the exclusion of all else. In
All
those
right.
circumstances, what kind of music would you choose?
What kind of music? Um, I don't know. I like lots of. I really like very soft music. I would say. Um,
What genre? Pop, classical, rock, heavy metal, jazz?
it's not the pop. It's I don't know if you're gonna see it. RYZ.
Uh, oh, okay. Is that a band or is that a type of music?
It's a type of music. It's really uh wonderful. It's one.
Okay. I
I
like that. I've not heard of that before.
you need
RYZ, RYZ,
RYZ or YX. Sorry.
RYX music. Okay. And it's not a band, it's a type of music, is it?
It's a band.
Oh,
It's a
it's a
band.
band. Okay. Yeah, you get to listen to them all the time. There we go. I'll have to have a
I
listen
love.
to that.
I
Yeah.
love it. I recently paint everything with this music. Is
Oh,
this?
so that music is in the pictures as well.
Yes, it's in the
Yeah.
pictures. It's so. It's just like
Excellent.
you need to listen. It's amazing. It's amazing. The band is amazing. It's not very famous like the other pop stars, but it's.
Are they Polish or are they
I don't
um
know. I don't think so. I really don't know. I
I'll
didn't
have
read.
to have a look. I'll check that out.
I
Okay.
yeah.
So we're on our way. So you arrive in Warsaw,
Yes.
okay? A group of young artists, landscape artists,
Hmm.
meet you. They whisk you to a cabin on one of the lakes, okay, which is where you're going to start. And there are people fishing on the
Hmm.
lakes. Um, you have a lovely day with those people, and you start working. And they come. They say they pick you up, and they say, "Okay, we're going to take you out to a dance performance, and we're going to take you out to dinner." Okay, in Warsaw.
Hmm.
Now, this is where the magic wand and the time machine come in because I can put any dance performance on a stage in front of you, any dance-based performance, any dancers, living or not, any dance style, any dance group. What would you like to watch?
Um, Dancing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know really. I just like dancing. Like when people dancing. I like when couple dancing. Really,
Okay.
yeah.
Salsa. Salsa?
Also would be nice. Yes.
Salsa would be nice. Yes. I love a bit of salsa. Well, it just so happens that the World Championships, the Salsa World Championships, are happening in Warsaw when you're there. So you
Hmm.
get to watch that. Now they take you out to dinner afterwards, and you get to choose the national cuisine. You don't have to stay in Polish culture or cuisine. So, is there a favorite country's food that you would like to choose?
Um, Pizza. Pizza.
Pizza, it is. Yeah, there's a very good Italian pizza restaurant in Warsaw that we will go to in our world. Wonderful. Now we're going to fly again somewhere else, and you can go anywhere in the world. Where would you like to go?
Some like really hot place, I would say, with the lovely water there. Uh, Bahama, maybe.
Oh, yes, Bahamas.
Nice.
We're in the Bahamas, and you're on the beach, and there are people sea fishing from the beach. Okay, so you get to do another picture there. Now it's sport day in the Bahamas when we get there, and some sport is performance art, ice dancing, dressage, synchronized swimming. It's nearly dance. So breakdancing was in the Olympics. So you can have any sport for 2 hours. What sport would you like to watch?
Swimming.
Swimming racing.
Yes.
Yes. Do you swim?
Yes.
Are you fast?
Not fast, but I'm strong.
You can swim for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Now we're going to buzz again
Hmm.
from Bahamas. Where are we going next?
Where are we going next? Um, I I don't know. Maybe Dubai. I really never were, were there. It's like
Okay, I've never been to Dubai. You probably wouldn't want to go now.
not now,
No.
but yeah, it's a different world. It's like the whole the uh,
Okay.
beautiful view there. So it's
Yeah.
absolutely different than in Europe. We have like
Mm.
thing here,
Okay. So
green.
again, you get to do some work with people beach fishing in
They
Dubai.
have
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah. But in Dubai, in our fantasy year, there is a new art gallery in Dubai. It's a digital gallery, and you put on a pair of virtual reality glasses,
hmm.
and you can step into the work of a famous artist. It becomes three-dimensional, 360 degrees. You can walk around in the picture.
Hmm.
You can see in 3 dimensions what the artist could only show us in two.
Hmm.
If you could do that, which famous artist's work would you like to step into?
Cloud Monet.
Monet, yes, the garden
Yes.
over, over the bridge.
Oh my God, it's so lovely. The
Yeah,
colors. Is
yeah. Okay, great choice. Now I'm going to whisk you back to London, okay? And you and I are going out together Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
hmm.
Okay. We're going to do something cultural every evening. On
Mhm.
Monday, we're going back in time to a pop concert or a rock concert.
Oh,
On
nice,
Tuesday, we're going to the theatre for a play. On
lovely.
Wednesday, we're going to see a musical. On Thursday, we're going to the opera house. And on Friday, we're going to the cinema. Okay. And between us, we can choose what we see. So, is there a concert that you would love to go to?
This band, definitely.
Would you like to see them live?
Oh my God, yes,
RYX.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm so looking forward to I'm going to put them on after our interview and listen. RYX it is. Okay. Now, what about a theatre play? We're in London, so we could see some Shakespeare.
Oh, that would be nice. I would love to see a Shakespeare. That's or Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo, yeah,
This,
great. At the Globe Theatre in London.
yes.
Yeah, that's good. What about a West End or a Broadway musical?
I'm not really like after Broadway musical. I'm like very soft person with the, you know, more romantic.
In that case, we'll go and see West Side Story, which is Leonard Bernstein's interpretation of Romeo and Juliet. So we get to do Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare, and then we'll do West Side Story, which is the Romeo and Juliet story brought into the 1950s. So that would be good.
That would be good.
Thursday is opera. Are you an opera fan?
I would love to hear the opera. Yes, it's definitely different than on the YouTube, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got artwork in the scenery, you've got acting, singing, music, dance. It's all there. Do you have a favorite opera, or shall I suggest one?
Yeah, I leave it to you.
Let's go to the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden in London for, I think we'll do La Boheme by Puccini. It's got some wonderful arias in it. It's great, really. It's a wonderful introduction to opera.
Mhm.
And then Friday is movie night. What movie shall we go and see?
I don't watch movie very often, so not really movie person.
Well, given that you love Hans Zimmer,
Yes.
I think we should probably go and see Interstellar on a big screen with surround sound music. Um, how does that sound?
Yeah, lovely. Absolutely.
Interstellar, wonderful. Now we're nearly there, and I'm going to send you off for this wonderful year of study and practice. Um, but I'm going to give you what I call the hero lunch before you
Mhm.
go.
All right.
You can invite one person to lunch, okay? It can be anyone you like,
Oh my God.
living or not. So it could be a historical figure, it could be a character from a book, even. Who would you like to have a leisurely 2 hour lunch with?
Um,
Paolo. And she's got it there, The Alchemist.
yes.
That 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 would be great. Well, there you are, Boguslawa. That's your fantasy cultural year. You get to do the book deal, the TV series is out, you get a TED talk, you do the university lecture tour, you become the go-to person, and it's big news because you have started a revolution, how to bring sport and art together. Because your paintings are now exhibited all over the world. And the angling and fishing community, which is huge, by the way. Lots of people, more people go fishing than watch football.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Um, and it's a huge success. Your work is exhibited widely, and you get to travel the world and do special appearances for the openings and explain the thinking behind it. Have you enjoyed your fantasy cultural year?
Yes, absolutely. You are magic. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you so much for being a good sport and doing this. We'll be publishing these and promoting our interview, and we'll be including lots of the work. And when you do a picture with a float in it, please please tell me. Okay. Have you
Yes.
enjoyed that,
Yes.
Boguslawa?
Very, very, really.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again for being such a good sport and doing this.